When someone you care about starts losing interest in you, it can be very scary, confusing, and ultimately heartbreaking. According to psychology, here are the 10 steps that you should take to get them interested in you again. If you do what I am going to tell you in this video, it could save your relationship and even make your partner be more interested in you than ever. If you are new to the Psych Authority channel, make sure that you subscribe so I can help you every week with relationship and psychology videos. Now, let's get straight into this video. So, the first thing that you should do when someone starts to lose interest in you is encourage them to open up to you, but don't be angry or overly confrontational about it. You could say something to them like, "Is everything okay between us? Because it feels like something is wrong and I really want to fix it." You want them to remember that you are a place of comfort for them. You want them to feel comfortable talking to you about whatever is going on. Tell them that they should feel like they can be honest with you and tell you what is really going on. Then make sure to stay calm and listen to them if they do open up to you. Make sure you don't overreact or get angry and upset if they tell you something that you do not want to hear. If they do open up to you and tell you the truth about what is going on, make sure to hear them out and then be willing to work with them to fix it. Now, if they don't open up to you, don't freak out. If you have given them the opportunity to tell you what is going on, but they say nothing is wrong, then just drop the issue for now and leave the ball in their court. Remind yourself that this could actually really have nothing at all to do with you, and just by communicating to them that you feel like something is up with them, that could be enough to jar them out of an emotional funk that might have nothing at all to do with you. You also want to consider their personality. Do they have depression or other mental struggles that could cause them to be disinterested in you? Depression and other mental illnesses can make a person go through periods where they are not interested in anything. And if this is the case, you cannot just expect them to snap out of it all of a sudden. If you already know that they do suffer from a mental illness, it's very important to remember this and then act accordingly. Now, it's also possible that they are struggling with something, but they have never been properly diagnosed. So, in this case, you could suggest to them that they talk to a therapist if they have never been diagnosed. But if this is not the case, or they do not want to see a therapist and they are still acting weird and uninterested in you, ask yourself if you have changed anything to make them less interested in you. Did you stop paying attention to them like you used to? Did you get too comfortable in your relationship and stop doing things that used to make them happy? Did you stop brushing your teeth? Relationships are a two-way street, so if you stop putting in as much effort, you could find that they respond by being less interested. Now, before we move on, do make sure that you have a hard look at yourself and your behavior and try to figure out if you have started slacking in any areas. The next thing you can do is to try something new to keep things fun. Now, you could be the most interesting person in the world, but if you have just been doing the same things, the same routines, day in and day out for a long time, it's easy for anyone to get bored and lose interest. So you could try planning a special event and see if that piques their interest. You could go to a fun restaurant with them. You could take a trip to somewhere new with them. You could take a fun road trip with them. Spending time and doing activities together is a great way to rekindle a relationship and inject some new excitement into it. Sometimes this actually is enough to fix the problem if it's just a case of the blahs that every relationship goes through from time to time. But if this still doesn't fix the problem, don't be pushy, don't pressure them, and don't chase after them too hard. You could ask them a couple more times throughout the next week or two if there is a problem between you two, but at some point you just have to give them their space. You don't want to start an unhealthy pattern where they start acting disinterested in you and then you respond by getting clingy and trying to fight for their attention. Once you start this pattern, it can be very hard to stop. So you want to take care of this problem and address the root cause now, or else you might keep having to deal with this situation over and over and over throughout your relationship. Please leave a like if you are enjoying this video, and I want to thank you very much for watching. I highly appreciate you. Now let's move on to the next thing that you should do if someone loses interest in you. You need to understand your own value. At this point, it could be very easy for you to get down in the dumps and lose your own sense of worth. You might start to wonder, what is wrong with me? The problem is that if you don't have a good opinion of yourself, it's very hard for other people to be interested in you as well. Other people tend to mirror back to us how we feel about ourselves. So you need to remind yourself that you truly are performing at your best, and your best is more than good enough for anyone. And if they aren't interested in you, there are plenty of other people who are. You also need to make sure that you do not make excuses for their behavior. If you have tried all of these things and they are still acting weird and uninterested in you, it's time to take some action. Don't make excuses for their behavior or try to rationalize it. You can't spend your life playing detective or trying to be a mind reader. Now, everybody has emotional ups and downs in their life, and everybody has rough patches where they can be a little grumpy. And it's up to you to decide what level of that you are willing to tolerate. But at some point, enough really is enough. So you need to realize that it's not okay for someone to continually treat you like you don't matter and that they aren't interested in you. At this point, it's very good to get out and start hanging out with other people. Rather than getting sucked into an emotional black hole of trying to figure out what is wrong with your relationship, you should start hanging out with other people who you enjoy being around. Not only will this give you a chance to unwind and have some fun, it will also give your partner a chance to miss you being around. And finally, you really do need to know when enough is enough. Sometimes things just do not work out. Sometimes relationships end. Sometimes it's better to know when to cut your losses and move on. If you are married to this person or you're in a long-term relationship that you really don't want to lose, you might suggest that the two of you get relationship counseling. Now, you can do therapy in person, or there's even specialized therapists that are online that deal with relationship issues like this. You can check the description below for links to a free therapist directory in your area, and also to something called Regain, which is an online therapy for couples. You could also talk to a local church to see if they have free marriage or relationship counseling available as well. Well, what do you think? Have you seen any of these signs in your relationship? Let me know in the comments below because I would love to hear from you. Please share this video if you have found it helpful, and then if you want to learn 7 definitive signs that your partner definitely does not love you anymore, click here and I will see you there.